Hello, family. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy E, the Dividend Passable Bro, back with another video. Guys, I want to say happy Easter, I believe it is, that whatever holiday it is today. I think it's Easter, right? I don't pay attention to the holidays. But with that being said, right, today is a day that the Lord has made, and we're going to celebrate and rejoice in it. Okay? I probably didn't say that right, but I was trying to get it together. It's been a minute. Okay, guys, but all seriousness, happy holidays to you guys today for the day. Even though I have to work, I don't have a day off. I have to work today. And then, of course, I'm here making a video for you guys. So, for all the new subscribers, welcome to the channel. This is a financial independence, retire early channel. Okay, where we talk about investing and living your best life however the hell you want to, okay? And that can mean different things for anybody, for everybody, okay, guys? The market is closed today, but that don't stop us from talking about money, right? Because even though the market is closed today, guess what you're doing today? You're spending money. You still got to pay bills. You still got to buy food. You still got to, put gas in the car. You still got to buy soap for laundry. You still got to go buy them $20 eggs. You still got to do all that. All right. So, but some people, the figure is taboo to talk about money, right? But they don't track their spending. They don't track what they have going on with their portfolio. They just set it and forget it, right? Like it's gonna take care of itself, right, guys? Now, this is not financial advice, okay? I'm just a 52-year-old man that makes videos about my portfolio. Okay, guys, that's what I do. I make videos about my portfolio and my portfolio alone. Now, we're working on doing all the things to improve the channel, to have more people come in giving. It's not like a testimony, but to more motivation, right? To make sure you guys know, like, hey, we are not alone in this, right? We are here to do what we do because this is what we do. We make money, right? And when we make money, we're not ashamed to say, guys, we're doing good. Or we're not ashamed to say, you know what, we lost some money. That stuff happens all the time, right? But we use the losses to our advantage, right? Remember what I just said? We use the losses to our advantage, right? That's what we do. Okay, guys? So, with that being said, right, we're just going to have a conversation today. Like I said, the market is closed, but crypto market, right, as far as I know, it's still going on, right? You see, crypto is up in the hour, it's up, right? Well, not crypto, but Bitcoin was up in the hour, now it's down 0.16%, right? Now, if you look at Ethereum, it was up too, but it's down too now, okay? This is the crypto. Crypto never sleeps, right? It might take a nap. It never sleeps. Okay, so if you're investing in crypto, you gotta pay attention to this stuff, because most of the time when people, it's like, oh, I'm just gonna let it be the way it is, da 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 da. No, it's not a way to go, guys. You gotta pay attention to your money, right? People that have budgets, they know how to balance their budget. They know how to say, you know what, this month I cannot afford to pay for this, or I can't get this extra stuff because if I do that, we're gonna have some problems that we're gonna be out of money because you know what's in your account, right? Right? You some people you tell them, hey man, I make six figure. What do you spend? Oh, I don't know. I spend this and I spend that. But they don't have it tracked down to the dollar, right? And when you track your expenses down to the dollar, you know what you're spending, right? Except you got a bunch of money and you figure, well, I don't have to track my expenses, right? Guess what? In the short term or in the long run, you're gonna be without money because you're not gonna know what you're spending your money on, and before you know it, right? You've seen people that win the lotto, right? Win the lottery, and then they go buy cars, they buy houses, they give people money, and they make all these bad investment choices, right? And then 2 to 3 years later, the money is all gone, and all the friends they had, they're all gone with that money because they come and get what they want, and then they move on, and they leave you there to deal with whatever you got going on. Okay, guys, this portfolio here, you guys know I just got this portfolio reactivated yesterday after transferring out of here, right? And I did this over a month ago, right? And it took them a long ass time to get my portfolio back active because I was over there messing around. I transfer accounts out of other portfolio before, and they take this long. Usually it takes 7 to 10 business days. And then they set up all the stuff, and that's it. And then anything else come in, they automatically will transfer over. I know these guys, they take their own time to drag their feet, but they got it done, right? Now we don't have no more margin issue, right? So guys, I had a comment today. I don't know if it was for me or for Mark, but I think it was for Mark. Well, I still commented because when people make comments and it's not specific, then I have to comment because I want to make sure you guys understand that sometimes you have to sell at a loss because if you don't, if you got 100,000 in something and it dropped down to 60,000 and you don't see and drop down to 60 and you in your right mind you say, you know what, that is not going to recover. It's on its way down, right? And you can try to daily cost average back to where you had that 40 grand, but that income that you lost, that $40,000 drop in income, sometimes it's just better to say, you know what, I'm gonna do what I can to get it back. But when you see it as a losing battle, you cut your losses and you sell, right? And sometimes selling is not a bad thing because, like I tell you guys, right? You can do what they call tax harvesting, right? You can take that $40,000 different, and that can be a tax write-off. So let's say if you made $200,000 for that year, guess what? You can take out that's $40,000 right there coming out of that 200,000 that you don't have to pay taxes on. So there's a way, around all the stuff that the rich people know of and they do that we poor folks have no idea. And that's some of the things I've tried to teach you guys or make you aware of on this channel, right? Because you sell, like, yeah, if you have it there and you sell it, yes, then you calculate it as a loss. But sometimes, like I said, you cannot recover from something that's going to zero, right? You can sit there and let all your money go to zero and say, oh, well, I'll wait 2 years and have it recuperate. No, if it's going down and you see it going down, and sometimes, like I said, you have to take the emotion out of it and make calculated decision, right? And say, you know what, this is what I'm going to do, and do it. Just like when I transferred my portfolio, I kept looking at this thing, and I kept getting margin call, margin call, margin call. I say, you know what, it's not right. I'm paying the 50% on this, 60% on this, maintenance, window maintenance, margin maintenance. It's messing up my portfolio, right? Boom, we get it out of there. We transfer it out. Okay. Now, since I transferred my portfolio out, I was getting margin calls every single week, right? Since I transferred my portfolio out, I only got one margin call on Fidelity, and that was for Misty. And they ended up selling a lot of my Misty, right? $40,000+ worth of Misty to cover the margin calls and have some extra in there. Now, I was very, very upset that they did that because I had um, an extra, what, maybe 3 or 4 thousand, maybe $5,000, maybe in dividend that I lost because of that sale. Now, looking back at it, if they hadn't sold, I would have been fine still because of the income that was coming the next day. And then the market did excellent the day of the sale. So that really like pissed me off real, real bad. I was upset. I was like, my goodness, these guys, man, come on. But it is what it is. I was going to sell something else, but I didn't do it in time because I thought I had to the end of the day. But it's one of those things. It's a learning process. I tell you guys, for me, it's learning. I'm learning how to use margins, and that's where we are, right? So this portfolio, I still got about um, maybe about 7 or 8 more things I want to add into this stuff here that I've been taking a look at today. Um, seeing what I want to add. I've been in stock analysis, right? And put in some portfolios in there and adding them in there, and see as far as the dividend, all that good stuff, how good they are from my standpoint, what I'm looking for, and I'm gonna add some of those to this portfolio, right? Because I got 42 in here right now. I'm gonna sell the Google and the Amazon. I think at some point I'm gonna sell those at just $5, and I can use that money because it's free money. I didn't work for that. It's free money, so I can use that money and buy other dollar cost, not dollar cost, but buy other positions, right? I think I got about $8 right now in there. Plus, I can buy another 8 positions at $1, and I got about maybe 10 or so I want to add. Um, so we're gonna do that and see um how the portfolio does. Right? I still got most of the stuff I had in the portfolio before. There's still a couple more things I need to add to the portfolio. At some point, we might be around. We're gonna be under 100 positions in this portfolio, the new portfolio that I'm starting back up for my daughter tuition. And I mean, this is how we're gonna do it. Okay, so it's not lying there right now, but it's enough to get the party started. Okay, so guys, into my this is my car and daily living portfolio, right? This used to be um, that's what I had named this portfolio. Now it's just one of those Charles Schwab portfolio. But this portfolio, the reason I did this was to have. So when you're investing, when you're saving money for something, right? You don't put the money you save it into the same savings account as the money you put in for the regular savings, right? You separate those, right? If you're doing it, you don't need to do that. You need to separate the funds. If you're saving money for a car, that money need to be in a separate account. Create a separate account. That's for car. If you're saving for a house, you need to have a separate account for house. And then you need to disperse cash to those different accounts. How will you feel? And the reason why I decided to do that was because, the bills for me, I look at my car and that's my daily living expense because it's something that I use a lot. I don't really like to walk. I like to drive. Even when I'm in Colombia, I have a car there. I like to drive. I don't like to walk. I like to drive. So it's something I use every day. Gas, food, all the stuff I consider my daily expense, right? And then I have a separate account just for my mortgage, right? Or rent, or however you want to call it. And that's how I did it because usually, I mean, in the U.S., in Colombia, it's not as much, right? I can combine in Colombia. I can combine the car and the rent and insurance. I can have them in one budget, right? Um, because it's less than $1,000. Except I'm adding multiple properties together. Um, then all the utilities, all that stuff, it will be more. But just for the properties I have now, the rental and my personal rental that I'm in Colombia, um, that is way under $1,000, right? I mean, HOA dues is about 120 more or less, 100 and I'll say $110 for my HOA dues for the property that I own, and then that's the only thing I pay there other than light, water, gas, and then the property that I rent, um, it's just light, water, gas, internet, of course, and then with that combined, that is still less than $600 a month. Light, water, gas, internet, rent, that is less than $600 a month, or somewhere in that ballpark. And so when I get this new property that I'm trying to buy, that will eliminate $380 depending on the cost, the value of the dollar from my budget. So that $380 I have to spend every month for rental can go to light water gas, right? Because I'll just pay for the property, it'll be mine. And at some point, if I decide to move to another city or another country, I can always put it up for rent, and I'll be getting income from it like I do the other property. But this is the reason I created this account initially. Um, as my daily expense account. I call it my card note and all this stuff. And right now we at $600 a month, right? Um, my car in Colombia is paid for. The only car I got here right now, the card note that I have to pay is my Tesla. All the other cars are paid for except for one, but I don't make the payment. My friend make the payment on their car, and the balance is like 2,000 something dollars, and that car will be paid for. So I don't even count that into my, you know, into my budget because I'm not paying for it. Um, so this right here, I need to add a couple more positions into this portfolio, but like I said, we have to buy the entire share. There's no fraction of share to buy in this thing here. So it makes it, for me, it makes it a little harder to invest, right? Because if I see a position, I'm like, oh, I got to write it down and make sure it's in my other portfolio. And I was like, okay, I'm going to add it here. That might take a couple of weeks depending on the income that coming into the portfolio. You know, and, but the dividends are still coming into the portfolio haven't even show up yet, right? Today's a holiday. I don't know. Do you guys are closed? Maybe they're closed. Now, the portfolio, the other portfolio, Fidelity, the income, yes, of course, is already shown up into the portfolio. And I'm like, okay, cool. But the income that's being here is not there yet. So it's one of those things you have to wait. So the reason I'm telling you guys is, guys, it's good to have different things for different things, right? Like I did for my daughter, I was like, okay, we're gonna invest money for her to pay her tuition, right? Now, initially, yes, it's to pay her tuition, but after she's finished school, her sister gotta go to private school. If we're in Colombia, which we're gonna be, because I'm planning to move to Colombia, she got to go to private school in Colombia, so that's going to be paying her private school tuition, which is it's not a lot, a few $100s a month, I believe, from what I was told. Now I haven't done the research; it could be more, but even that is it's like daycare. It's still nothing, right? And it's a full day of school. The other thing is, at some point, this account, right? If it starts generating a couple of $1,000s, then of course it's going to take care of my daily expenses in Colombia and my car here in the U.S., which I'm going to make a decision next month after my daughter get here. What I'm going to do as far as selling the car, selling the houses, selling everything, and putting everything into the market. Now, another thing I want to make clear, right? If and when I end up selling the houses and put that money into the market, I'm going to do 50% of that money going to go into the extreme high yield, and the other 50% will go into mid yield, right? And that's where it's going to be, right? Because that mid yield is going to generate anywhere from 3 to 10%, and the high yield is going to generate anywhere what I'm consider high yield, right? From 50% up to extreme high yield to 100%. It's going to be in those there, right? And right now, two of those, four of those would be Misty, PLTY, Morning, and I can't think of the other one top of my head right now. What would be those four that I will put it into to generate high income, right? Like I said, all this stuff we do is by risk, right? We lose some, we win some, but the whole gist behind my investment strategy is to collect money from my extreme high yield, reinvest it in my lower yield, right? So you see, that's the thing. I'm pushing to get to that $1 million in income, but once I get to 1 million, 2 million, right? That other 500K that's coming in every year, once we get to that point, will be reinvested back into lower yields, right? 2-3%, not 2%, but 3% and up, 3% up to 5%, maybe up to 10%. We'll be putting money into those yields, right? That I consider a little bit more safer. And we're going to continue to take money from the high yield, put it into the lower yield. And that's how we're going to invest, right? Because once we're making that kind of money, like I said, we're making enough money so we can go back and get loans on our portfolio, right? We're getting loans on our portfolio. We're still going to pay taxes, right? We're still going to pay taxes on the money with the income we're generating, right? But we're getting a loan against our portfolio. So at some point, we're going to use that money to pay off the taxes. So it's still the loan, right? The interest, all that stuff going to be paid off. So we're using that money to say, yeah, okay, I got this money now. I don't have to pay taxes on it, right? And this is what we're going to do. So we're paying taxes on a minimum amount. Guys, talk to your tax professional, right? I give you guys hints and stuff for you guys to think about. You can't think of like you're gonna be poor your life, especially if you're watching this channel and you're starting to invest now. In 10 years from now, 5 years from now, your portfolio is gonna change. So you got to stop planning this stuff now. That's not gonna cost you any money. Know what you're gonna do, right? You can't wait until you're like, okay, well I made it big now. Let me see how I can protect myself. No, you have to start looking into how all this stuff works to help you to get to that next level. Okay. So this is our tools. These are our tools. These are stocks and these are ETFs. Okay. These are the tools that we are using to get there. So, people can say, well, you can go and buy real estate and you do the 1% rule, right? I did that. We buy real estate and we just need to make 1% off the real estate. But you can buy REITs that are going to pay you 10% and up, 5% and up, right? Like, right? They're REIT, but they pay monthly dividend, okay? And they pay more than that 1% you're gonna get that you expect to get from a property, and you don't have to deal with a tenant, you don't have to deal with a broken pipe, you don't have to deal with a broken toilet, you don't have to paint the place every year. If it's your place like me, I care about my place. I go up there, make sure everything is touch up. If the place looks horrible, I will paint, redo refinish the bathrooms, all that stuff. I do it because it's my property. I don't want to wait until the tenant leaves and the place is gone to shits, and I have to spend $7,000, $8,000 to renovate the place. No, I do that every year because I check my spot every year. I do 2 or 3 random checks every year. That's in my requirements, so they know. If I'm in the neighborhood, I'm like, you home? Yes. Okay, I need to come through. Oh, the apartment is dirty. That's not. I don't care about that. That's your dirt. I just want to make sure my stuff is okay. And in the beginning, my tenant used to push back, and I said, look, you got 2 options. This is an agreement. You can either find another place, or you can let me come in and check the apartment, make sure everything is okay, and then we move from there. If not, what I'm saying, I have the right to terminate the lease because it's in there. If you refuse to let me come and do our random checks as required, the lease will be terminated. And you sign it, you agree to that. So, and of course, in the beginning, like I said, I don't care about, I don't want you. I'm just coming to look at my spot, make sure my property is okay, that you're taking care of my property. Because if I tell you, well, I'm going to come, if that's a hole in the wall, you're going to put something in front of it to make sure I don't see it. And if it's something that looks suspicious, like, why is something in front of that wall over there? There's a hole back there. So I need to check that kind of stuff. Because when you go in and just like, oh, well, she's so sweet. No, guys, I tell you guys all the time, pay attention to your money. Because nobody else is going to pay attention for you. There's nobody to take care of your stuff for you. You can borrow your car to somebody that will go around over a pothole. They will drive you all crazy. But you're driving your own car. You're not running over potholes. Except you're an idiot. You're not running over a pothole. You're taking care of your own stuff. So why you will let somebody else do your stuff crazy? Okay, guys? So, today is one of those days, right? I was able to update this thing here and from yesterday, right? This is what we did yesterday. Foot is still down a little bit, right? And let me move my hands some phase in the middle here. I was able to upload. The chart swap is still not working. It takes too long to sync up. But Robinhood was added. Now, they said I have $15,000 invested into this account. I don't know what that's coming from. This is a new Everything else been transferred out, but I guess they're still keeping old records. They say that I have $15,000 invested already. So I don't know. And my portfolio is down 13%. So I don't know what this number is coming from. It could be lost before that I was in the portfolio. But it is what it is, right? We're still gonna try to get this thing going because that's what we do, right? And passive income, this thing give you all kind of different information. But annually, right now we at $12.62, right? This is the annual estimated income from this thing, from that $48 that we spent so far in the portfolio. And I mean, it's not bad, right? If you spend $40, $48, and get back $12.60 in return, I mean that is not bad. I think that's a big return right there. It was like 25.92%, 94%. Um, that's not bad, right? But guys, this is all a work in progress. This is a work in progress as we continue to add money to this new portfolio. If I could say new portfolio, add money to this portfolio that was one transfer. Now it's back to being our regular portfolio. You can see we're going to estimated income. It's about $1.05 a month. $12, man. So the whole year is, and you're going to generate $12 for the year. We're going to make $1. What can I buy with $1 every month? Uh, I think even if you go to the dollar store right now, everything is $1.25. So I don't think you can buy anything in the dollar store now. That used to be 99 cents. Everything is different. So I'm gonna have to wait every other month to go to the dollar store and buy my daughter some candy from this portfolio, right? It damn sure it's not gonna be paying no 10,000 plus dollars or more a semester, right? Actually, at 12,000 plus a semester. It's not gonna do that. So we got a ways to go to build this portfolio back up. And look, guys, this is what I told you about Nvidia that was free given to me by Robinhood, and we're gonna let it sit there. And Google was the other one that was given to me by Robinhood for free. I didn't pay for that. Everything else I pay for, and they tell you how risky, not safe, all the other stuff that's not safe, but I don't have no data for Misty and Conan and all these other guys, right? Why is that? JepQ, you know what I'm saying? But guys, this is what we do. We are dividend investor. We invest in dividend, right? So I spend my money so I can get paid later, right? And with the income it generates, right? My money stay put and it generate a little bit more. We reinvest a little bit more. And that's what we do. We make money as we sleep. That's what we do here. That's what this portfolio does. It makes money for us as we sleep, right? I mean, we're not investing in crypto right now in this portfolio, but I can go to bed, wake up, and I'm going to generate income every month. Now, as you guys saw what happened with all the terrorist stuff, it put an ass whooping on my portfolio, a big time, right? For where we were up 500 some thousand, now we're down 400 some thousand, and we're gonna get back there. We're gonna get back to where we were, but it's still hard to see something that you work for um, in the 5 years term, working two, three jobs to build the income level up to where it was, to be able to go and say, you know what, I'm gonna get some margins to help push my portfolio, and then in turn, the same thing you say you're gonna use to push your portfolio is the same thing that go in and hurt your portfolio. But with everything we do, it's a lesson. What I learned from using margin and how it affects my portfolio. Now, I know I talk about this stuff all the time. So sometimes I know everybody don't watch all the videos. You don't watch the video all through, so you miss some of the stuff. And then ask questions sometimes because it seems like I don't know if you watch the whole video or you just watch the portion of the video and be like, okay, let me ask questions about this, right? Kind of like the thing with me talking about uh, doing the FBI background check, right? I have to do the background check because I'm applying for residency in Colombia, and that's one of the documents the lawyer asked for. You have to submit, and they ask for not just lawyer, but they ask for that you have to submit a background check from the FBI so they can make sure you don't have any kind of record that they see not necessary to give you residency, right? Um, so I had to get that. I still have to get insurance um, because you have to have insurance. The main reason for the insurance is, let's say you go there and you die, right? And they're not going to release your body except you don't have any hospital bills and all the other stuff that is paid for before they will release your body to come back to wherever you're from, right? In my case, it'll be in the U.S. or whatever. I don't know where my kids decide they want to do with their daddy. They might say, you know what, let's just bury his ass over there. That's where he want to be. Let's just bury him over there. When that time comes, they would decide that even though hopefully they would follow my instructions on what I want, right, to be buried. Um, and that's all. That's it, right? But so I need to get that insurance. It's kind of like a traveler's insurance, but it covers all of those key things that's required when you're looking for residency. And then the thing about it, the funny part is once I get the residency, I can apply for insurance in Colombia, which is a lot cheaper. Um, so I don't even think that stuff is necessary, but it is what it is. Um, so I got to do that. Like I said, if I'm generating all this money every month, right? Which half of this right here, it dropped down again, right? Because of the income that came in. Which half of this right here will be going for this one? Let's say this 1 month will be tuition a little bit plus $24,000 plus for the year will cover my daughter's tuition. So there's still a lot of wiggle room in here where I can live comfortably after paying um, her tuition in university because I don't have to pay for where I live. I keep saying that I don't have to pay for where I live if I buy this property. If not, I will buy something else. But this is what I keep telling you guys. Okay, this channel is about financial independence. Retire early. So you want to work hard all the time. I see a lot of Americans move to Mexico, other places in the world, even Colombia. A lot of the guys I'm friends with, I just met in the past years. Those guys are American, right? That live comfortable life. My other friend, he'll tell me like, man, last year I spent 30 some $1,000 for the year, and I was like, how? He said, well, my rent. He don't own the property, but my rent is a little bit over $1,000 a month. I was like, okay, that makes sense. Um, I would understand maybe he said 20 something, 22, 23,000. That would make sense to me, even with the rent being $1,000, because you still have to eat. You got to do all your checkups and stuff. And I think $1,000 a month on food is way too much. If you pay your internet, light, water, gas, and phone bill is like $10 a month, $12 a month. My phone bill over here, one of the bills is $164. My other phone bill is $180 something dollars. So I got two phone bills, one for my company, one for my personal, right? And both of them are high. So go figure, right? But can you imagine me going from spending almost $300 something dollars a month to spending $10 a month for a phone bill? I mean, that's what's gonna happen because what's gonna happen is I'm gonna just tell E, okay, you know what? You're gonna have to get your own phone plan. I'm gonna change the whole plan around to where we just have these three numbers instead of having six numbers. I don't even use all the other numbers. You have these two, this one number, I have this number, and that's it. And we're good to go, right? Because I got three numbers. And then on the other plan, there's three numbers. But I only use really two of the numbers. And she used one from the other plan, and there's an extra number in there somewhere. I don't know even what the number is. But guys, all of this stuff, some of the stuff we use, it's not necessary, right? What I spend on the phone, some people live off of that for the whole month in Colombia. I don't know how to do it, but they do it. Okay, guys. So you see here, I like this. This is the best part of my whole thing. Why I like to use this right here is because of this. right here. This doesn't motivate you, right? My little portfolio. Now, this all estimate. I always say that this is all estimated on the income that's going to come to the portfolio. Now, tomorrow we're going to do the income portfolio. Income review. I didn't even want to click in there and do all that stuff today. We're going to go with that tomorrow and see how much came into the portfolio. Obviously, it's not a lot, right? Um, I was hoping we were going to generate maybe like $6,000, $7,000. Well, of course, that didn't happen. But we did generate some money that that right now I think it will keep us close to that 21,000 mark you saw earlier in income, right? Now, with all of the changes that happen, if we do 21,000, it will be a big drop from what we did last month, right? As far as income goes. But keep in mind that we sold a lot of positions trying to balance the portfolio so we don't, we sold a lot of positions and most of the, and all of the positions we sold except for one was in the positive, right? So we sold a lot of things to help us for margin calls, right? And in the end, we still had a big margin call that we had to sell over $40,000 worth for Misty. That kind of hurt us this past when we got paid over $3,000 or $4,000 we didn't get because of the funds that were transferred out of the portfolio. Okay, but I mean we're still doing okay, right? From where I started from 5 years ago to where I'm at now, right? It's a big difference, guys. It's a big difference to be generating this kind of income, and in another year or so, um, I think it will be uh, a lot better because all the things that I'm planning to do, it'll be a lot better to where I can save more money, invest more money. Because even when I moved to California, even when I moved to Colombia, right, I'm still going to be collecting the salary from my job, right? I'm still going to be collecting the salary from my job, and with that, I mean that would take care of all of my expenses, and I can still use money from my salary to add to my investment to grow my investments. See what I'm saying? I can still use money to add to my investment to grow my investments. Because if I'm living off of $2,000 a month, right, and my job is generating 6,000 plus after taxes, that extra $4,000 can go to other things and go to trips, go to traveling, go to having a great time, living my best life, hiring a chef, and all that good stuff. Guys, I love you guys, and I know I've been yapping for a while now, so I'm going to end the video here. Remember, guys, this is not financial advice, okay? I'm just here to motivate you guys to get you guys into investing and find out your why. What's your why? Why are you doing this? Is it just because you want to have money, or is you doing it to help your family? Why are you doing it? Okay, guys. So with that being said, I love you guys. We're gonna do this again tomorrow. Peace out.